The first thing I feel is not fear, it's relief. A relief that floods me like a powerful painkiller, dissolving the tension I've carried in the back of my neck for years. There's no reason to fear when you're home. The air here tastes like scrap metal and mold, a mixture of rust and ancient filth. It's a smell that would turn anyone else's stomach, but for me, it fills my lungs like the embrace of a mother returning from a long, exhausting journey. I breathe it in deeply, feel it settle into my bones, and whisper thank you to the emptiness. I open my eyes. The sky. The sky has no sun, and I'm grateful for that. It's a perpetual bruise-colored shade, a sickly purple mixed with static gray. It's not day, it's not night, it's an eternal twilight. Barefoot, stepping on cracked, cold asphalt that doesn't make me shiver. The ruins rise around me like broken cathedrals, concrete buildings that look as if they were bombed 50 years ago, their metal beams exposed, hanging like broken ribs pointing toward the dirty sky. It's beautiful. It's the silence I crave. I walk. I don't run. There's no reason to run. 10 steps ahead, 2 figures emerge from the thick fog. This fog, it's dry, smells of sulfur and dust. It's the mist I love. The 2 figures wear faded rags in shades of beige and grimy brown, perfectly camouflaged among the rubble. They stop. They don't scream, don't flee, don't look at me with panic. They tilt their heads, curious. Their skin is pale, almost translucent, stretched tight over their facial bones. Their eyes, they don't have normal irises. They are yellow, a sulfuric yellow, bright and wet, like headlights on a dark road. They stare at me. There's no malice. One of them extends a long, cold hand, fingers stained with soot. I feel an absurd, irrational urge to take that cold hand. It's the most honest contact I've ever experienced in my entire life. You came back. The voice doesn't come from his mouth. It echoes, reverberates, like a vibration at the base of my skull. Direct communication without the irritating filter of words. I smile. For the first time in days and months, I truly smile. I thought I would never feel this peace again. But then, the ground trembles. The sound of an alarm clock rips through the purple sky like unbearable thunder. It's not a natural sound, it's metallic, shrill, forced. The gray world dissolves into smoke. The smell of mold is replaced by cheap lavender. No! I scream, grasping at the air, trying to hold on to the dust slipping through my fingers. But the question that won't leave my mind isn't what is this place? It's why do I feel more panic about waking up than about having been there? I wake up. The sunlight of Santa Catarina invades my bedroom through the slats of the blinds like knife blades. It's 10 a.m., light, yellow, and aggressive, making me feel exposed, like an insect under a magnifying glass about to be burned. My eyes sting. The sound of cars on the street, a dog barking, the neighbor's radio blasting pop country music. Everything is too loud, too colorful, too alive. It's an assault on my senses, a meaningless festival of frenzy. I curl up in bed, pulling the blanket over my head, and then I start to cry. Not out of fear of the nightmare, like normal people would, but out of grief for being forced to wake up. My name is Helena. I'm 26 years old, but my soul feels centuries tired. I live in the countryside of Santa Catarina, in a small town where fog is common in winter. That should comfort me, but it doesn't. It's not the same fog. Here, the mist is white, cold, damp in a clean way that deeply irritates me. The fog in my dreams is dry, smells of sulfur and dust. That's the one I see. Since I was little, my parents said I was sensitive. They thought it was beautiful, almost mystical. They said I saw angels. They couldn't have been more wrong. I didn't see angels. I saw the flaws in reality. I always hated the sun. Direct light gave me migraines, made me feel horribly vulnerable. I lived with the curtains closed. At school, I was the weird girl who stayed in the darkest corner of the playground, watching the other children play. They seemed fake, like wax dolls animated by frantic, senseless energy. I got every label: antisocial, goth, depressed, but the truth is simpler and more terrible. I feel like I don't belong here. The dreams started in adolescence, sporadic at first, but over the last 2 years, their frequency increased. Every night, the moment my head touches the pillow, I'm pulled away. It's not just visual, it's tactile. I feel the rough texture of crumbling walls. I feel the cold that doesn't chill, but soothes. There are monsters there, deformed creatures, some with extra limbs, others crawling like liquid shadows. But they never attack me. In fact, they comfort me. Last week, a woman with eyes glowing like yellow headlights approached me. While I sat on a ruined sidewalk, she stroked my hair. Her hand was rough, but the touch was gentle. I felt loved. I felt accepted. When I wake up here, I feel like I've been ripped from a womb. I look at my tidy bedroom, my computer, my colorful clothes, and I feel disgust. I feel like I'm wearing a skin that isn't mine. Was I born there and switched? Am I a cosmic miscalculation? Today, I decided not to get out of bed. The light outside is too aggressive. I scrolled through YouTube on my phone, searching for something to explain this emptiness, this chronic longing, until the algorithm, maybe reading my soul, suggested a video. The title glowed on the screen, Setealen, the universe that shouldn't exist. I clicked, and for the first time, the ice in my stomach turned to fire. The video talked about a place, my place. It spoke of a parallel universe, dark, filthy, inhabited by people with strange eyes. It called it Setealen. People in the comments were afraid. They said it was hell, limbo, a dimension of pain. I read the comments and started to laugh. A nervous, dry laugh, alone in my dark room. "You don't understand," I whispered to the screen. "It's not bad, it's quiet." The narrator mentioned that one of the ways to get there is through dreams or astral travel. My heart stopped. The fire in my stomach spread to my throat. So it's not just a dream. I'm traveling. My consciousness is crossing a forbidden boundary every night. That explained the physical exhaustion when I woke up. Explained why I woke with muscle pain, as if I had walked miles through rubble. I stopped, looked at my hands. Under the pale light of the lamp, I examined my nails. Under the nail of my index finger, there was a buildup of dirt. Dirt I couldn't have gotten from lying in bed. But it wasn't the black, moist, fertile soil of Santa Catarina. It was gray powder. Dry, gritty. I smelled my finger. Scrap metal. The smell of there. A shiver ran down my spine, not of fear, but of excitement. If I brought something back, the door is open. I jumped out of bed and went to the bathroom mirror. My mind was a mess of panic and euphoria. If the gray dust was real, if I was crossing a forbidden boundary every night, then I wasn't crazy. That was a small victory, a validation of my suffering. I stared at my reflection. My brown eyes looked dull, lifeless, exhausted from the double existence. My face was pale, as if under Setealen's perpetual light. "Who are you?" I asked the mirror. At that moment, the bathroom light flickered. Once. Twice. The hum of the fluorescent bulb changed pitch, becoming deeper, heavier, like a slow engine struggling to start. For a fraction of a second, in the mirror's reflection behind me, I didn't see the shower stall and white tiles. Reality failed. I saw a wall of broken bricks, damp and dark. And in the corner of the reflection, watching me with predatory patience, 2 bright yellow points glowed in the darkness. The same eyes that looked at me moments before the alarm rang. I spun around. The bathroom was normal. White tiles, clean shower. The light's hum returned to normal. But the smell? The smell of sulfur flooded the room, choking the lavender scent of my soap. The smell of Setealen was here. It had crossed the crack. They're no longer just in my dreams. They came to get me. No. Better, my family came to get me, and I was going to make it easy for them. That discovery gave me the autonomy I needed. No more passivity. I wouldn't wait for sleep to come naturally, pulling me away and snapping me back to the sound of a stupid alarm. I would force the passage. I no longer wanted to be Helena, the tired girl from Santa Catarina. I wanted to be the barefoot resident of eternal twilight. The next day dawned like an attack. My mother knocked on my bedroom door at 10 in the morning. Her shrill, worried voice drilled through the wood. "Helena? Open the window, honey. You need vitamin D?" "You're pale as a ghost." I stood up. My body weighed a ton. Every joint ached, as if my bones were trying to readjust to a gravity that didn't exist. Travel fatigue was real. I opened the door. My mother stood there holding a laundry basket. She smiled, but when I looked at her face, the world failed. For 1 second, a blink, my mother's facial skin melted. Healthy pink flesh gave way to a gray, sooty texture. Her warm brown eyes blinked and turned into vertical, yellow, liquid slits. A creature wearing my mother's skin. I stumbled back, my back hitting the wall. "What's wrong?" she asked, the image snapping back to normal instantly. "You look like you've seen a monster." "Nothing," I murmured, a metallic taste filling my mouth. "Just dizzy." I was forced to leave the house. I needed to buy painkillers for the headache pounding behind my eyes. The street was unbearable. The sun of Santa Catarina didn't warm. It burned. I felt my skin prickle, as if the light were reacting chemically with something wrong in my blood, something that didn't belong here. The people on the sidewalk, they were the worst. The sound of conversations, laughter, car engines, everything sounded distorted, like a radio out of tune, hissing and crackling. I looked at a group of teenagers laughing on the corner. Their laughter sounded like metal being twisted. Then it happened again. The misdirection, the distraction that makes you doubt. The blue sky flickered, turned purple. The colorful, modern buildings overlapped with skeletal silhouettes of reinforced concrete, black and decaying. I stopped in the middle of the sidewalk, gasping. I'm losing my mind. This isn't real. I'm having a breakdown. A hurried woman brushed past me, bumping my shoulder. "Watch where you're going, girl." When I turned, I didn't see a woman. I saw one of them. Tall, wrapped in rags, skin stretched over its skull. It wasn't angry. It was smiling, almost there. The voice echoed in my head. I squeezed my eyes shut and opened them. The street was normal. The woman was gone, but I knew the truth. The membrane separating here from there was getting too thin. Setealen wasn't just in my dreams anymore. It was leaking into my waking life. I ran home, ignoring my mother's worried calls. I locked my bedroom door and sat on the bed. The sadness I felt every time I woke up finally made sense. It was homesickness. I picked up my phone. There was a message notification from a friend worried about my disappearance. I deleted it without reading. I no longer cared about plastic friends. I wanted my friends in rags and headlight eyes. I decided I wouldn't wait. I would force the passage. I took 2 sleeping pills my mother kept in the cabinet. I lay down on the bed, crossed my hands over my chest like a corpse at a wake, and closed my eyes. "Take me back," I begged the darkness of the room. "And don't let me return." The buzzing began immediately. The smell of mold filled the room before I even blacked out. This time, there was no gentle transition. I felt cold hands grab my ankles and violently pull me downward. I fell. Not into a dream, but onto the hard, cold ground of Setealen. And the impact knocked the air from my lungs. I stood up, coughing gray dust. I was in a narrow alley, surrounded by damp brick walls that seemed to breathe. The purple sky pulsed above me like a sick heart. I was home, but something was different today. Whenever I come here, I'm an observer, invisible or ignored. Today, everyone was watching me, dozens of them. Figures standing in windows of hollow buildings, on corners, on rooftops. Hundreds of yellow eyes focused on me. There was no hostility. There was anticipation. One of them, a tall figure wearing what looked like a 1940s suit, torn and covered in slime, approached. He had no nose, just 2 slits on his pale face. "The shell is breaking," he said. His voice sounded like chalk scraping a blackboard. "I want to stay," I said, my voice steady. "I don't want to go back to the light." The creature smiled, revealing teeth like rusted needles. "You don't understand, little one. You don't need to stay here." He pointed a long, bony finger at my chest. "We're going there." "What?" Before I could process it, the world around me began to shake violently. The sky started to tear open, but not to reveal nothing. Through the cracks in Setealen's sky, I saw my bedroom ceiling. I saw my ceiling fan spinning. I saw my bedroom door closed. I was in both places at once. My physical body in bed, I felt it, even while standing in the alley of Setealen. The two realities were colliding. The walls of my bedroom began to peel, revealing rotten bricks beneath white paint. The carpet turned into cracked asphalt, and the creatures, they started walking toward the rift opening in my room. "No!" I tried to scream. I wanted to go there. I didn't want to bring it here. My mother was in the next room. What would happen to her? I tried to wake up. Tried pinching myself, screaming, opening my physical eyes. I couldn't. I was trapped at the intersection. Then my bedroom door, in the physical world, opened. My mother walked in. "Helena?" I heard a noise. "Are you okay?" She stopped. She didn't look at me in bed. She looked at the corner of the room, where the shadow had solidified into a tall, dark mass. Through my doubled vision, I saw the creature in the torn suit standing at the foot of my bed in the real world. He looked at my mother, and my mother started screaming. A scream that didn't sound human, a scream of someone seeing the impossible. "Mom!" I screamed, running toward the rift between worlds. But the creature looked at me and made a shushing gesture, finger to his lipless mouth. "She. Now we're family." My mother's scream didn't last. It was cut off abruptly, as if someone had muted the world. The creature extended his pale hand and touched her forehead. My mother didn't die. She simply shut down. Her eyes rolled back, and she collapsed gently onto the carpet into a deep, artificial sleep. The silence that followed was deafening. The electric buzzing stopped. I stood there at the boundary. My feet felt the cold stone ground of Setealen, but my eyes saw my childhood bedroom, now distorted, walls bleeding gray smoke. The creature slowly turned to me. His yellow eyes had no irises, but I felt the weight of millennia in his gaze. "The door cannot stay open, Helena." The voice vibrated in my bones. "Where light enters, our shadow burns. Where shadow enters, their minds break." I looked at my mother unconscious on the floor, looked at my physical body lying on the bed. My presence in that colorful, noisy world was drawing the darkness like a magnet draws iron filings. If I stayed, Setealen would consume my home, my mother, my city. They weren't invading. They were being pulled by the vacuum my soul left behind. "I have to choose," I whispered. "There is no choice," the creature replied, extending his hand to me through the dimensional rift. "You already chose when you were born." A tear rolled down my face. I looked at the room. The posters on the wall. The sun trying to force its way through the slats of the blinds. That world was beautiful, yes, but it was painful. Too bright, too empty. I took a step forward, not toward the bed, toward the creature. The moment I grasped his cold, bony hand, I felt an electric surge tear through my spirit, like being shocked with 1,000 volts. It was awakening. The rift closed. The bedroom reformed, whole again, but with a faint smell of sulfur. The sun forced its presence through the blinds. I opened my eyes. My mother is sitting on the edge of the bed beside me, worried, insisting on calling my name, trying to anchor me back in this reality. But her brown eyes seem a little duller. She's here, but I'm not anymore. Helena found her place. But what about you? Have you ever had a dream that felt too real? Woken up with aches that shouldn't exist, or unexplained dirt under your nails? Maybe you're not just dreaming. If you felt that chill down your spine, subscribe to the channel. We investigate what the light hides and keep an eye on the cracks in reality. Leave a like us if you have the courage to accept the invitation and are tired of this world's aggressive light. And tell me in the comments, if the door to Setealen opened in your bedroom tonight, would you run toward it or run away?